Hey everyone, and welcome to the happiest hour on earth. We're so excited that you are here this week. We're going to be talking about everything that has changed since Disneyland and Disney World have reopened. Next week is April 30th, which means that it's been 1 year since Disneyland and California Adventure have opened. Disney World obviously opened a lot sooner, but we just kind of wanted to do some discussion about what changed during that reopening. Did we like it? Did we not like it? There's a lot of things that did change, like indefinitely. Like we're gonna have some things that will be with us from here on out, and then some things that did happen, but we're getting those back. So we just wanted to discuss our thoughts since it is a year anniversary of them finally reopening. So without further ado, let's get started.
All right, so before we get started on our discussion, I'm just going to introduce the snack that we made. We actually didn't make a drink this time, which is pretty unusual for us.
It's super weird.
Well, we did, if you call this a drink, it's just... It's a dark rum with some tropical juices. It's not very pretty looking, but...
We've been doing drinks a lot recently, and we just did a reel about like our favorite food and drink from Food and Wine, but most of it was drink. And so we're like, you know what, let's do a snack today.
Yeah, and I've been kind of wanting to make these for a bit, so I just figured tonight was a good time for it.
Yeah.
So we made the safari skewers from Adventureland.
Yeah, Bengal barbecue.
So yeah, it's been a while since I've had these. I think I only had them in the park like once, but they're so good. We always just get like the chicken skewers, which are also delicious. But for tonight, we have the safari skewers, which is just bacon wrapped asparagus.
I was about to say the vegetarian version of the chieftain skewers, but they do have bacon, so definitely not vegetarian.
Does not qualify as vegetarian.
The only thing vegetarian there is like the bread.
Yeah.
The tiger tails or whatever.
Exactly. That's true. So we have these skewers, and we made our own little like teriyaki soy sauce dip because even though you don't have that in the park with them, it just kind of seemed right. So we just made that, and apparently it comes with lime. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and squirt some lime on them right now.
I'm gonna try it without the sauce first, just see how it is, from the park, and then we'll go from there. But this looks like a very like fun appetizer to have.
I know,
at a party
for like anything, right?
Yeah, like a safari birthday party. I know, right? Oh, let's try these.
All right.
Cheers.
That's so good.
You can't beat bacon wrapped asparagus.
That was really good. They're really pretty simple. There's like not much to it except for just cutting everything into like 1 to 2 inch sections and then just wrapping the bacon.
Yeah.
Skewering and cooking.
We haven't done as many snacks compared to drinks, but we did make that drink BuzzFeed article a while back, and we are going to create our like top 10 Disney snack one, a BuzzFeed article on that, because we have done some amazing ones in the past that we have remade, not even for a podcast because they're just delicious, like the spring rolls, the bacon mac and cheese fries, so many good ones. And so we're gonna do that, and you guys can see like our list of 10.
Hopefully
Disney
that'll
snacks.
be out in the next couple weeks on BuzzFeed.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, we're gonna jump into our discussion. So to start things off, we thought we would talk about something that is pretty recent, as in like yesterday was the first day back. The character meet and greets have been not a thing, really, not like the way that we knew them for ever since the reopening. So if you haven't been back, maybe you've seen it on social media or something, but characters would be out occasionally and you could kind of go up from a distance and see them and interact a little bit, but you couldn't like go up and give them a hug or take close-up photos or anything like that. So that just returned, which is really exciting. I think that under the circumstances of COVID and with all the knowledge that we have, that was the best option that they had. Like, at least the characters got to even come out.
Yeah. That's so true.
I mean, it was still really fun. Like we were there for, two of the trips, like both of the trips that we've gone on since the reopening, that's what was going on with the characters. And it was still really special. I mean, there's nothing that can beat like going up and wrapping your arms around like Mickey or Pluto or something. Like, I mean, it's so magical, but it was still really, really fun. And we brought our son, and he loved going up and waving and kind of like interacting back and forth with the characters.
He did try to get past the barrier on our last trip, though. He was trying to climb up the stairs under the rope, and I was like,
yeah, he really wanted to go up close and see them. And I'm so sad that we just missed the official return of meet and greets, but next time we go, we'll have them. So I'm excited for that.
I just hope like everything goes well, you know. You're always afraid that they're going to like do something.
Yeah, change it back.
Something's going to happen and then they're going to change it back. But I like how they have the progression too, right? Like I think right when they first had characters out, like they were super far away.
Yeah.
Like they were like so, it was like, oh, is that like Winnie the Pooh? Like way over in the bushes
they'd be
there?
like up on, on a balcony somewhere, and you're like,
oh, that's so weird. And then they like gradually were like, literally there's just a rope between. But the characters, props to the characters because they did so good at like interacting to multiple people, you know. But now, I'm really glad that was brought back. One of the biggest changes that definitely won't revert back is Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes. Now, there's a couple of things about this, right? Like
pros and cons.
So Disneyland was pretty much the only theme park, like major theme park, that wasn't upcharging faster entrances to rides. And so we do have to take that into consideration. Like Universal, I think like Magic Mountain, like all those ones, you have to pay an extra fee in order to get through the lines quicker. And props to Disneyland for not doing that for a very long time.
R.I.P. Fast Pass.
I know. It's so sad. And,
sad.
And that is one really, really sad change because I think it was so magical being able to like go up, get a paper Fast Pass, and you like had to put in the effort to like go and grab one, and then you carry that around. You're just waiting for your slot time, and it was just so fun. I think it worked very seamlessly. Like the Fast Pass system was really, really great. But the thing is now with Lightning Lane, since it is a paid version, they give them so much more priority because they don't want to upset the people who paid for it. So standby queues seem longer now.
Yeah.
Where with FastPass, like they had a more even distribution because it was like, this was just something free that we offered. You got it. And then, it was more. I remember one time we were waiting for like Monsters Inc.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like,
it was supposed to be a
40
15 minute.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 15 minute. It was crazy.
And we watched so many people walk through. Like we like figured out the ratio.
Yeah, I think it was like 30 to 40 lightning lanes to like 6 people or like 10 people.
In
like
the
it was
standby.
not.
And we were in the standby, and it was obviously a much longer wait than what we had initially thought it was going to be. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, we've already been waiting so long. We have this toddler who's like freaking out. Can we just go? And like, we were just standing there for so long.
And that would be fine if it was like $20 per day. Yeah. Right? But only one person in your party needed it or something like that. Or maybe
that would be nice.
Maybe it covers 2 people or something like that. So if you have a party of 4, you have to pay twice, all that stuff. But $20 per day per person if you're going with a big group, and then you have to pay even extra for like certain rides. It was a very hard change.
Excessive.
I wish that they that was transitioned into a little more seamlessly, because the thing that sucked was that when the parks reopened, they were still working on lightning lanes, and I don't think we even knew about it.
Yeah.
Like they were just like, oh, there's no fast passes currently because of, I think they gave a COVID reason. They're like, oh, we're not doing fast passes right now because something. And it was really because they were waiting to get lightning lanes out. So that was a real bummer. I mean, I guess.
Such a bummer. Obviously, we understand Disney took a big hit.
Yeah.
During COVID being closed for that long. I mean, they've never been closed for more than like a day leading up to that. So obviously they have a lot of money to recoup, and I get that. It's just a tough pill to swallow when you're
It is.
used to how things used to be, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I do miss the fast passes, and we have yet to try Genie Plus, but maybe at some point we'll cave. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Another thing that is a post reopening thing is the reservation system, which I'm not really sure if it's going to stay or go. I don't know. It may stay, right?
Yeah, I mean well, I liked it near the beginning because
Yeah.
they actually had they capped it at a certain point. And now, yes, they do cap it at a certain point. Like this last trip, there's no more reservations available, but it definitely felt like full capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to keep it just so they know how many people. I bet it's kind of nice from a business operation standpoint, knowing how many people are going to be in the park that day. But I don't know and we're going to talk about this a little bit later with the Magic Key holders, but I think there were a lot of issues when it came to single day ticket buyers and then Magic Key holders. But I don't have a problem with reservation system, but I liked it a lot better when they actually capped it at a lower number. I was like,
I was like, cool. I guess it'll never be overwhelmingly crowded when that's the case, but it definitely feels crowded now.
One thing I want to propose, because I actually talked about this when we were in the parks, but what would you guys think, you guys listening, on maybe a Dapper Day or a certain day where, Dapper Day is supposed to be kind of back in everyone dresses the 50s or the 60s or whatever. If they did Dapper Days where you had to pay extra to go, but they capped it off at 50%. So that way, because remember back then in the parks, there weren't as many people. You could just kind of go on rides really, really quick. Would you guys pay a certain amount more for that one day to get 50% capacity? And ride the rides how it used to be back then. I would totally do one.
Sure.
I would totally, because that was just one day that you're paying that little extra, but I feel like it'd be so cool to experience Disneyland.
Way less crowded.
Way less crowded. So proposing that to you guys, hit us up on Instagram, your thoughts, because we would love to hear
I think that's a
them.
pretty good idea. I would be totally in favor.
Yeah. So next, this is a nice positive thing that happened. Because it didn't change something that we knew, Avengers Campus. Well, I guess it did kind of change something. We knew the bugs, and then we put some superhero where those bugs were. So
that's true.
June 4th, 2021, Avengers Campus arrived. And one big thing, though, that COVID did affect with Avengers Campus, because we've talked about this in prior episodes, that it just kind of seems like a place where you could easily walk through and miss a lot of stuff. And it only opened with it wasn't an E ticket. It was a B ticket. It was just, it's just a glorified Toy Story Midway Mania. But that is because COVID really had an impact on,
Finance.
their money and what they were going to do, because they were working on that Avengers E-ticket ride that was going to actually open up later. Just kind of like Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run, how Smuggler's Run opened up before then. But the thing is, they took a indefinite pause on the Avengers E-ticket ride, and that was due to the loss of money with the parks closed. So that's a real bummer. That really affected Avengers Campus.
It detracts from, I think, what the overall consensus for me would be.
Well, here's to hoping that they start working on it again soon.
That'd
I know.
I wonder how much money they've recouped.
I'm curious how far they are into that attraction because they were working on it. So I'm curious, if they start up again, would that be a 1 year timeline? Would it be 2 years? I don't know. It was supposed to be a state of the art attraction, just like Rise was.
Mm-hmm.
But here's to hoping that they build that out.
We'll see. And on the topic of attractions, that leads us to our next one, which is rides and attractions that have changed and are going to be changed in the near future. So the initial one that we've known about for a while, even before the 1 year, I think it was during the closure, that the announcement was made about the Splash Mountain refurb that's going to be Princess and the Frog. I can't remember the exact date that was, but I'm pretty sure it was pre-reopening. So we're waiting on that. We still don't really know much on date that's happening. It's still just kind of like something we're expecting to happen in the next like year or so, probably.
Yeah, maybe more.
No date about like when it's like when Splash will be closed for the refurb. Like it's still open. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to happen at some point, but we'll see. We've also got Snow White that changed and
Wish.
Enchanted Wish, which
changed from the Scary Adventures.
I was really happy that they changed it, and we finally did get to ride it because our first trip back, which was 6 months ago, we just never got on it.
Well, the lines was so long because
I think we went
fresh. Yeah, it was still pretty fresh, and I was like, our kid is not gonna wait in this line.
Yeah, so we didn't get to do it, and we got
so
to
much
this
better
last
now.
time. Yeah, the line was pretty
it actually
short.
has an end.
Yeah,
like,
it was
great.
so much cuter. Like, it really reminded me way more of like a good mix between Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and the dark ride that we've always known. Like,
just like with the technology.
Yeah. It was really fun. I mean, obviously Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is much more like thrilling and exciting and stuff. But it was just fun to see kind of like some of the dwarves in there and they're like mining and stuff, and just a happy ending. Like, it was really cute. So I'm glad that changed. I'm glad that they didn't get rid of Snow White altogether, because I feel like for a while I was worried that some of those classic ones like that and Pinocchio would maybe get changed, and I was like, no, like
there were rumors way back in the day,
there were.
Which that would have been tough.
And I'm so glad that they kept it, because I mean, Snow White is Snow White, like the first movie that Walt Disney.
And they're making they're making the live action too.
Exactly.
Right now, so they have to keep it.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that it stayed, but got a little update.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then we just found out as of yesterday.
We're filming this on a Tuesday.
Yes, this is Tuesday the 19th, I think.
Yep.
Tarzan's Treehouse is officially gone and is likely getting an Encanto retheme. And I'm not sure when it will reopen. I don't think they mentioned that yet.
They haven't mentioned it, yeah.
Sounds like that's what the retheme is going to be. And I don't like it. It makes me sad. I mean, like, Encanto is fine.
I really like Encanto.
I like it, but it's like Tarzan for me will be head and shoulders above to me forever.
It's especially that, I mean, hearing Phil Collins music as you walk past, and it's just like, that was like,
so
I feel like that
perfect.
was the millennial thing in the park. Like, what other millennial classics were there in the park? I'm trying to think of.
Like, we were little kids when that came out, and I loved having
there was
that.
no other like 90s things in the park, I think.
Yeah.
Except for like, Toy Story and things in California Adventure, but nothing comes to my head right now. Yeah, Buzz Lightyear, like,
Yeah.
it's like that. But there was also the weird thing, and I would actually, I think, this sounds terrible, but I think I'd say this. I think I would not like this even more. There are even some rumors that it might revert back to Swiss Family Robinson, because apparently Disney Plus is coming up with an original either movie or series about Swiss Family Robinson. So they might revert it back to that. But I think that would be
weird.
I think that would be a money loser.
I feel like that's
like they already have that
happen.
in Disney World.
I don't think they would revert back. They're not going to put it back to what it used to be. I don't think Disney would ever really do that.
Yeah, but and then that they are working on that new project. But I think it would be so sad to lose Tarzan. Tarzan is the best.
It's heartbreaking. I have such a special place in my heart for Tarzan. I always will.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't like go up to the treehouse every single time we were there,
I loved hearing his yell. In line for Indy.
I know, and like the little drum beat is so classic of Adventureland. Like, I think of that when I think of Adventureland.
Yeah.
And like, it's gonna be gone, and it's just so sad.
It's gonna be I think it will still be very beautiful, and I loved that scene in Encanto, his room, Antonio's room. And so I think they could do it well, but yes, I am going to be very sad. But
That's dumb.
they're trying to capitalize on it, right? Like, and literally don't talk about Bruno, which won't be even in the treehouse unless they're like, oh, Bruno's here and he wants to sing his song. Like, that's weird. But they, that blew them away. That's literally the number one most like charted Disney song ever, even in front of Let It Go, which is insane.
Crazy to me.
Which is insane.
Because honestly, I don't care for it. Also, maybe controversial, but I'm like, I could take it.
There were better songs in that movie.
Way better. But anything from Tarzan. Literally anything from Tarzan. Any single song.
Actually, though, yeah. Phil Collins. I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, but
soundtrack.
Phil Collins, blew everyone away.
He went hard on that Tarzan song.
Yeah, so crazy. And so these are all the Disneyland ones. Obviously, we are on the West Coast. We know Disneyland a little bit more. I'm sure there were some ride attraction changes in Disney World that we just are slipping our minds right now. Oh, one of the biggest ones, Great Movie Ride getting switched to Mickey's Runaway Railway. I always have to like pause and like formulate my thoughts before I say that, or else I'm gonna sound so stupid because it's a tongue twister. Apparently that one opened like I think a week before COVID, which is so funny. I was like, hey, here's Mickey's Runaway Railway, and then they had to shut it down. But from what I've seen, that everyone loves that ride. Says it's so amazing, so awesome. But yeah, now we're getting that in Toontown once that reopens. So I'm excited that we'll have a Mickey ride here. We are going to be talking about
wait a second.
Rides. What?
We didn't even add that into our list. Toontown.
Yeah. So
Toontown.
Attraction
That's
changes.
not even like an attraction. That's a whole like land.
Whole land. Yeah.
So Toontown is down right now. Is closed. Obviously, I'm sure most of you know that. And is getting a big refurb. And we're super excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot more like open and kid friendly and getting Runaway Railway, which is going to be fun.
Yeah, super excited for that. It's going to be great. But there were some other things that opened up with Disney World. We'll talk about those a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And we might miss some things. We're trying to formulate this list, and obviously there's so much that happened. So if we miss something, let us know in the comments or something. But we're not perfect human beings.
Not to mention, this is immediately after Easter, and this whole last weekend was kind of crazy, and we were planning this a little bit short notice.
Because we were going to have a special guest on this week. It did fall through, which was unfortunate.
Like
hopefully we could still.
Very special guest.
Scheduling conflicts, so hopefully we will have her on again sometime. But we are having a special guest next week, and then in a few weeks too. So super excited about those because those are just as special.
Yeah, we can't wait for those.
So another thing that's also super exciting, by the time that this episode drops on the 22nd? I think 22nd.
I think
right?
So.
Friday.
Yeah.
We are getting some shows back. We are getting World of Color and the Electrical Light Parade. And I think
Disneyland is later.
Yeah, Fantasmic is later. Disneyland Forever. I'm trying to remember when that comes back, but we're getting some shows back, and
I'm so happy.
Obviously, one of the biggest things that happened during COVID, the closure and the reopening was that shows were not happening.
Yeah,
and this was understandable. I mean, there's a lot of people packed in to one specific area, and then now we know, after looking at things, that outside is a lot, better for that. And so they feel comfortable to do these shows again. And maybe they'll still have some space, between there. But
yeah,
it's going to be so exciting to get all these things back because really, we've gone and we've had such a magical experience. And yes, we have a kid that goes to bed at like 7:30, so we probably wouldn't be able to see the shows
yet. While we were there.
Yeah, it was a little bit later, but just the fact that the shows are going to be there, it's like the perfect. What did Richard Sherman? I think it was Richard Sherman said. It's like the kiss goodnight, like the fireworks at the park. Yeah. Just this
it's like good night magic way to end your magical day. Like, honestly, it does feel like something's missing from your trip when you don't have a show at the end of the day. or parades, I guess, throughout the day too. But something about at the end of the day, even though you're like so tired, your feet hurt, like everything hurts, it's still just so magical and such a perfect way to end your day just watching a show.
Yeah.
Whether it's fireworks or World of Color or Fantasmic, like they all hit different.
Yeah. Oh, they're so amazing.
I'm so excited that they're coming back, and I'm probably gonna like cry when I see some of those after we get to go back again, which I don't know when that's gonna be at this point. And I mean, yes, our son does go to bed early and he is wiped out at the end of a day, but I hope that we can like sneak one in with him, like
on an extra
if he can handle it. Like it would be so fun for him to see. We'll make sure, or he'll fall asleep while we're watching it. Either way, I don't care.
For sure.
But anyways, the shows, we cannot wait to see them back. Another one that we have is Blue Bayou introducing alcohol to the venue.
Yeah.
That was a very new thing because previously, before Galaxy's Edge, there was no alcohol in the parks except for in Club 33, which, you know, goals.
If you guys know anyone at Club 33, just
let us know.
Please.
We
would cry our eyes out.
We decided that by our 33rd birthdays, which is still a couple years away, that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's a lofty goal.
Maybe
but you
for
can help
our
us
33rd
fulfill
birthdays.
our goal.
If you know someone and you're watching
please.
this, send us a message.
Hit us up.
And get us in. Because it's both of our dreams.
I know. Yeah. Seriously, guys. That'd be so amazing.
Anyways, that was a little rabbit trail. But Blue Bayou now has beer and wine and a signature cocktail, which is pretty cool. I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings about this just because I know that Walt's original intent was to not have alcohol in the park, at least not in Disneyland, which is why, you know, California Adventure was, you know, fun to go visit as well because that was over there. And so it's like, I kind of have mixed feelings about it, but
the thing that makes all the difference.
Contained.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the thing that makes all the difference is you're not like walking around with alcohol. You're
getting
like
sloshed.
in certain environments. And it's hard to get those reservations, right? Oga's and Blue Bayou. So it's like, you know, if you are able to score those reservations, like you need a drink or two. But the thing is, you can't bring them outside, which is great, which I think provides that kind of same vibe that Walt was going for. And so,
I think so.
So the next one we have here is magic key holders. And I have to admit, we don't know, like, we can't talk too heavily on this. We were not annual pass holders before. And so magic key holders, obviously there was like the different tiers, all this stuff. I've heard some negative experiences from certain people originally that, like, yes, they're pass holders and they were having a hard time getting reservations because Disney was for a while prioritizing single day tickets because they had already gotten those pass holders money. So they're like, you know what, let's
kinda
make it easier. Yeah, it was really kind of screwy, but apparently they have been trying to rectify this. One example is that during our trip, single day ticket availability was already out, but they were allowing magic key holders to get those days. So I think the tides are turning with that. So hopefully it remains like that. I mean, a lot of people that we follow are magic key holders. And I've seen over the years, you know, especially in December, people were having a really hard time getting reservations while you could just buy a single day ticket. And I don't think that's right. And they do have to cater towards those magic key holders for sure. And so there's a lot of cool benefits with magic key holders too.
Yeah,
like
a lot of
before with
discounts and
annual passes, you would get the discounts and stuff like that. But now they have like the magic key like terraces and like magic key like holder sections to kind of give it that
really cool.
exclusivity feel, which is really, really cool. So so hopefully they continue to fine tune this program and that it just does become really, really nice, because I would like to do that one day for sure as well.
I would too. And like the name, like I guess I kind of like that it changed to that name.
It's kind of cool.
It
it
sounds
sets them apart.
so magical.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I don't know. I remember just being kind of like, what? They like changed the name of annual pass holder? Like it just seemed so weird at the time. But yeah, it's such a cute name. I would love to be a Magic Key holder one day.
Yeah.
So we have kind of a quick one here because this is actually in Disney World and we don't have a lot of knowledge or say in it, but Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And that opened October 21st of last year of 2021. So it's really cool that this ride is in Epcot in the France Pavilion because I think it's just so fitting to have it there.
Yeah,
and
it's so perfect.
It's in that ride is also in Disney Paris. So it's really cool to just have like an actual international ride here. And it looks really fun. Some of our friends actually went on it sometime last year.
I think it was like October.
Yeah, it must have been right after it opened and they loved it. So maybe we'll get to do it at some point too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just like how they're able to take, like, I feel like a lot of international parks have the rides that we had first and they like introduced them to those parks. But it's cool that we're also like looking at what rides are great in the international parks and bringing them here, right? We got Epcot from Shanghai coming to Disney World, which is really, really cool. And so, wait, did I say Epcot?
Epcot. I know,
Sorry,
in my head I was thinking,
oh my gosh.
like, I don't think that's what you meant to say.
We got the Tron ride from Shanghai coming to Disney World, Tomorrowland, which is really, really cool. And so, yeah, I just love that we're, grabbing some of those like really, really great rides from international parks and bringing them here, which is really, really great.
I agree.
And then the last one on our list is the Star Cruiser, the Star Wars Star Cruiser that opened in March of this year. That was a big one that opened, post reopening. There was so much buzz, so much buzz.
Hype.
March came, it opened. A lot of buzz, and then now I feel like we don't hear anything
I was
about
literally
it.
just
I
gonna say, I was like, I forgot that it opened already because I stopped hearing about it immediately.
Yeah.
Like, have they even had people book that are not like celebrities or something?
That's the interesting thing, right? Because like the opening weekend or like right before, and then like that first couple of weeks, they were giving Disney influencers, they were letting them stay there for free so that they would start some buzz about that. And so there was a lot of buzz right around that time. And then we follow a lot of Disney pages and we haven't seen a lot of people post about it because I think a lot of people don't have the ability to pay it. Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to pay that?
So I see them, and we've talked about this before, but I see them dropping prices. But the only thing that would suck about that is I hope they don't like skimp on the experiences. Like I hope they're not like, we have to drop the prices, but we have to cut a lot of the actors that are on the ship because the actors are what you're going for. You're there to see,
to feel like you're in a real Star Wars experience.
Exactly. And so it's an interesting situation. It's weird that we haven't seen anything from there. I've seen like maybe one or two things, but I think those were still like part of the influencer kind of package. So and the people that get to pay for it, not a lot of people are going to
honestly
pay for that.
Like who thought up the idea to charge that much and thought that they would actually like stay busy? Like, I mean, I don't know who came up with that idea, but it's like, I'm sorry, things are expensive in this world right now. And I don't know who, if you're not like seriously wealthy, you're probably not going to pay that much to go stay for a few nights.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I want to check and see, like I want to go to like the tagged location or whatever and see how many people were there, but I'm sure it's not like booked out. Like I'm sure like your experience is like not that many people on there. I could be wrong. We could be wrong.
I know. I was gonna say maybe we're totally wrong. Maybe we just haven't seen stuff about it. But I don't know.
It's not as accessible to people, and so and you need people to post photos from there. You need people to get the word out in order to get bookings. But since it's so high, people are not posting about it, so people just kind of like forget about it. Maybe that will change with all the Star Wars stuff coming out. You know, we have Star Wars Celebration, a lot more shows coming out and all that stuff. Maybe people will be reinvigorated and will want to go there. But like even with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, like the Star Cruiser is set in sequel time, so you're not going to meet Obi-Wan. You're not going to
Yeah.
meet, you know, all the big. That's the thing, and people talk about this sometimes. Galaxy's Edge and everything, and Star Cruiser, they're set between like episodes 8 and 9, and you're kind of limited there because you can't have the Mandalorian in there, which is a big thing. I think they should just change that. I think they shouldn't have it like quote unquote canon and be like we're only between 8 and 9. Say this is just a place where all Star Wars characters are, because imagine how much money they would make if they said you can now meet Din Djarin and Grogu in Galaxy's Edge, and that was just one of the planets that they landed on to like help a mission. But if you were able to meet Grogu and Din Djarin, that'd be incredible. So it's like, let's get a little more loose with the restrictions of like this is only.
Maybe that'll happen. Maybe they'll realize as time goes on that they have to find some different ways to draw people in. Yeah, and maybe that's how it would work. I don't know.
I know. I've heard some people talk about this, and I like this a lot too. Is if the Star Cruiser was like had certain three different things, right, per month, where you could go like prequel trilogy, original trilogy, and sequel trilogy, and you know you could kind of pick the dates that you wanted, and if it lined up with like Darth Maul and like, you know, Obi-Wan like back in the prequels, or you could do like sequel and maybe have like an intermix of like Mandalorian in there or something. Like you could kind of, it changed, and so you would kind of want to go back because you would want to experience like a different trilogy. But I feel like that would be really cool to like experience different things in like the Star Wars universe rather than just the same thing over and over.
That would be cool.
Crazy stuff. But anyways, wild. That pretty much concludes all of our topics. We might have missed something like we said, but we are just so thankful that you are listening. And it really just means so much, all the support from your show. Next week, we do have an awesome guest, someone that we have not actually, like a category that we have not talked to or interviewed yet. And so definitely subscribe, definitely like follow us on podcasting platforms, because next week is going to be pretty awesome. We're really excited to talk to this guy. Yeah, it's going to be a really fun one. It's definitely not something that we've ventured into yet, but I have a feeling you guys are going to very much enjoy it. So keep your eyes out. Yeah, definitely. And then, like I said, in a couple weeks from then, we have another really big guest, which is going to be really fun. And so with that, thank you again for listening to our podcast. We will see you guys next week. We'll see you next time, you guys. Bye. Bye.